What if I told you that one of the most famous scientific facts in the world is actually completely false? A myth repeated so many times that millions of people accepted it without question. You only use 10% of your brain. Sounds believable, right? But think about what that actually means. If it were true, then 90% of your brain would be completely useless. 90% inside your skull, doing absolutely nothing. But here's the terrifying question. If most of the brain is inactive, then why can a tiny brain injury completely destroy a person's life? Why does the brain consume enormous amounts of energy despite being so small? And why can't surgeons simply remove the unused 90% without catastrophic consequences? The scientific truth behind this myth is far stranger than most people realize. But before we begin, subscribe now to Aura Medicus and turn on notifications bell, because the human brain is far more terrifying and fascinating than fiction. And all scientific sources used in this video will be in the pinned comment. Where did the 10% myth come from? The strange thing is, no neuroscientist ever actually said humans use only 10% of their brains. There's no real scientific study proving it, not even one. So how did the myth spread across the entire world? Because humans love the idea of hidden potential. People want to believe there's a superhuman version of themselves trapped inside their minds, waiting to be unlocked. But science doesn't work with fantasies. It works with evidence. And once scientists began studying the brain in detail, they discovered something shocking. Almost the entire brain is active all the time. Your brain never truly stops. Right now, as you listen to this video, billions of electrical signals are firing inside your skull. Every thought, every memory, every emotion, every movement, all of it is controlled by massive networks inside the brain. Even when you're resting, your brain is still incredibly active. In fact, scientists discovered something called the default mode network, a system in the brain that remains active even when you appear to be doing nothing, which means your brain never truly shuts off, not even during sleep. While you sleep, your brain organizes memories, processes emotions, and maintains vital body functions. Your brain is constantly working behind the scenes. The energy fact that destroys the myth. Here's where things become impossible to ignore. Your brain makes up only about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes roughly 20% of your body's total energy. Think about that. A small organ sitting inside your head uses an enormous amount of fuel every single day. So ask yourself this: why would the human body waste that much energy on an organ that is supposedly 90% inactive? It makes absolutely no biological sense. The brain is expensive. From an evolutionary perspective, nature does not waste energy on useless tissue. The most terrifying evidence. Doctors know something horrifying about the brain. Sometimes, damage to an area no larger than a coin can completely change a human being. A tiny injury in one region may cause loss of speech, loss of memory, loss of movement, or even drastic personality changes. Some patients survive brain injuries but become entirely different people afterward. And this reveals something terrifying. Nearly every part of your brain matters, because if 90% were truly unused, brain injuries wouldn't be so devastating. The truth nobody tells you. Ironically, you do not want your entire brain firing at maximum activity all at once, because something close to that already exists. It's called a seizure. During severe seizures, massive groups of neurons fire uncontrollably at the same time. The result is electrical chaos inside the brain. So the idea of activating 100% of the brain isn't a superpower, it's a neurological disaster. Your brain is designed to work through balance. Different regions activate at different times for different tasks. That balance is exactly what makes human intelligence possible. The real superpower of the brain. Even though the 10% myth is false, the real truth about the brain is even more incredible. Inside your head are roughly 86 billion neurons, and each neuron can form thousands of connections. The number of neural connections inside your brain is so enormous, it exceeds the number of stars in our galaxy. But here's the most amazing part. Your brain can physically rewire itself. Every time you learn something new, your brain changes. Every memory, every skill, every experience literally reshapes neural pathways inside your mind. This is called neuroplasticity. Your brain is constantly adapting and rebuilding itself based on how you live your life, which means you don't need hidden brain powers. You already possess one of the most complex biological systems in existence.
So, in the end, the idea that humans use only 10% of their brains is nothing more than a scientific myth. Modern neuroscience clearly shows that nearly all regions of the brain serve important functions and remain active throughout our lives. But perhaps the most fascinating truth of all is that the real human brain is already far more extraordinary than the myth itself. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe now to Aura Medicus and turn on notifications. And tell us in the comments, what scientific myth did you once believe was true? And remember, all scientific studies and trusted medical sources used in this video are listed in the pinned comment below.